Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fruitful Trees. And today on the show, we're talking about jackfruit. Yes, many of us like to have a good variety of fruits in a yard and fruit trees, and there's so many different types and varieties. But how many do you really need? How many fruit trees of jackfruits and how many varieties do you really need? When it comes to mangoes, I definitely overdid it with the amount of mangoes I took in my space. But each mango has a different flavor, and they grow great in yards here in Florida that don't even have uh, 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 water a water system on it. So mangoes are a good thing to grow. Some other things are more difficult, like jackfruit, because they do need to be really taken care of really nice when they're young. Once they get that taproot in the ground, they can't really be moved too well, because once that taproot is messed with, they will die. But when they grow well, they will take care of you. And mango trees can be kept much smaller than jackfruit trees, even though at its biggest height, they will both grow tremendously. But basically, here I am I want to talk about 3 different varieties of jackfruit today to help you make that decision of what fruit you like the best. When it comes to jackfruit, there's hard jackfruit and soft jackfruit. And most people, from my knowledge, prefer the hard one. And what I mean by hard is I don't mean it's hard. What I mean is when you cut it open and you eat it, it's a crunchy, hard texture, not like a soft texture. And then there's medium, which is in between. I prefer the soft one, and that's why I have the varieties I have. But here I am in my neighbor's yard, and he has 2 jackfruits now. He had a third one, and he got rid of it because it wasn't producing well. I myself had another jackfruit that wasn't producing well, and I got rid of it. But this first one is Bangkok lemon jackfruit. And I guess it has the lemon name because it's yellow on the inside. The flesh is yellow. And as you can see, it's producing wonderful. There's not just these 3 big ones here. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's about 16 jackfruits currently on this tree. And every year, this tree keeps giving more and more. The tree's about 7 years old. And it's not that tall, the tree, but it's very wide. And it's a tremendous amount of fruit. They get really big. And every year it fruits well. The fruit is excellent. The texture is on the harder side, a medium to harder side, but it's absolutely a delicious fruit. I like it so much, I ended up getting a Bangkok lemon variety in my yard. It's much smaller than this. There's no fruit. It's way much smaller, but hopefully one day I'll have something like this. Now, the other fruit tree he has, a jackfruit tree, that I want to talk about and recommend is a very interesting one. This one is it's called Excalibur Gold. Now, there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 15 on this one, 15 on this tree. Now, this tree was interesting because from after having only the tree for maybe 3 years, at the bottom here, a whole bunch of jackfruit was coming out through the bottom. For the first maybe after about 2 or 3 years, he would start to get a lot of fruit out of the bottom of the tree, and they'd be growing practically on the floor. And that was just a very good sign that this tree was going to be a well producer. Well, now you can see it's producing really well. But something that's interesting that happened with this last year is he had the same amount of fruits on this tree, and literally every one I tasted was so bad and not even edible. I did not like it at all. Then the last one that was on the tree was absolutely amazing. And I was like, wow. I mean, I didn't like it so much, I would have probably got rid of the tree. And then the last one was amazing. So this year, we have more jackfruit, and I just tasted one, and absolutely amazing and wonderful. Now, it's called an Excalibur Red. It's not red inside. It's actually a nice deep orange inside, and it's delicious. So this tree is definitely a jackfruit tree I would recommend. He doesn't keep it too tall. It's quite wide. It's excellent. And yeah, now here's the thing though. This is from Excalibur Fruit Farm, and it's called an Excalibur Red based on, I believe they gave it the name. So this particular one's great. However, with most seeds, they don't grow, the fruit doesn't grow true to seed. Jackfruits are a little different. It's very likely you will get a fruit from very close to the, if you use the seed of this fruit and you plant it, it's very likely you'll get something close to this. However, it's not exact. It might be worse, it might be better. And you're taking a chance. If you have a big yard and you have a lot of space, that's okay, take that chance. But if you don't have a big yard with a lot of space and you don't want to wait 5 years to find out which one you got, you're better off getting one that's already grafted. So you want to take, if you want it to be exactly like this tree, get an old jackfruit tree stump, take it and graft one of these onto it. I haven't heard of too many cocktail jackfruit trees where there's more than one variety on a tree, but I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure they're out there. But just keep that in mind. Now, I can tell you from a productive standpoint, these two trees alone that he has here, can give him more than jackfruit than he can use. More jackfruit than he will ever need. Like I said, currently there's about 15 to 20 on that tree, and maybe about 15 on this one. That's 30 jackfruit. Nobody's going to eat that much. Nobody. Even if you freeze it, that's a lot of jackfruit. However, I don't know the different seasons of jackfruit. I know this one gave one off season last year. But if there's ones that are known to produce in different seasons, these two wouldn't be the ideal two to have if you only have space for two, because obviously they're giving fruit at the same season. So these are two varieties you definitely would like to have if you have the room and the space, and if there's just one season for jackfruit. But I believe there's more than one season, and for that reason, maybe these aren't the best. I don't know, but I'm very pleased, and I know he's pleased with his selection. It's absolutely excellent, and since he has so much extra, he might even be selling some of those as they get ripe. If you're interested in that, just post in the comments, and I'll keep you updated if he is. Now, I want to go over to my yard, and I want to show you the several jackfruit trees that I have, and so on. Now, there's only one tree that I have over there that is currently producing fruit right now from a jackfruit standpoint, but I still have several more. Actually, there's two producing now. So I'm going to talk about those. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because if you're like me and you have some space, but not a lot of space, but some space, you're excited to plant stuff. And I don't just want you to throw whatever you want into the ground. I want you to be selective in what you pick and do the research and do the homework. And hopefully this video is going to help you make a wiser decision if you decide to get jackfruit. So now the jackfruit is great too, because the seeds you can use as well. If you decide to, you can use the seeds, roast them, and they're like chestnuts and so on. So I like soft jackfruit, and I've had different jackfruits in this yard over time, and I've gotten rid of some of them. One wasn't producing, and I made the mistake because I had his Excalibur red jackfruit, but after tasting all those that were bad, I decided I don't want that jackfruit, so I took it out and I needed the space for something else. However, one of the jackfruits that I love is a really soft jackfruit, and it's called Black Gold. And it's so soft you don't even need to cut it. You could just peel it right off. And this one's producing nice for me. Every year I've gotten, and I planted this the same time he planted his. And every year so far since I've been here, I've gotten about 3 each year, maybe 4. This year I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So not as many as his trees. It could be the variety, it could be the location, whatever it is, but I have 9 here. And I noticed the the Bangkok gold ones seem much more longer and skinnier. These seems much more fatter. The Excalibur red even seems smaller than these. These are really big. But these are my favorite variety. To me, the black gold is the sweetest variety and the easiest to eat. As I said, most people don't like a softer variety. They like those varieties better. This also, maybe it's a little different in the season, that it'll get ripe a little later. We're still maybe a month away. Okay, so here I am still at my jackfruit tree, and I realized the second part of this video didn't work. So here I am the next day finishing up this video on the jackfruit. And as I was saying, the season of this jackfruit appears to be a little later, maybe 1 month later at least, or maybe 2 months later from my neighbor's jackfruit tree. So that might be a good thing. And if you're looking at having more than one tree and seeing how that works, I don't know if it's just the location or if it is perhaps a different season. Other things I noticed about this, other than it being a little sweeter, well, a lot sweeter and softer, it's just the growth habits seem to be a little different. It's not as wide, but it's straight up. And now it could be in the spot I have it in, but this tree is definitely loaded for me this year. Not as much as my neighbors, but I'm really pleased with this. And that's my favorite variety of jackfruit as of now. It's called the black gold jackfruit, and you can see there's a good amount up there. So now I want to show you what else I did, because even though I don't like to have two of the same variety because I have such a small yard, I did plant another black gold jackfruit because I want to make sure that I just want to learn the characteristics of it, and I want to put it in another area and see how it does in that other area. So I have another variety of the black gold that I put in that's not fruiting yet. It's still a younger tree, and I'm going to show you that. Now before I go to that, I want to show you my other jackfruit tree. I have the same thing. I think earlier I called it a Bangkok gold. It's actually a Bangkok lemon tree, also known as crunchy lemon. So I have one here. It's still relatively new. It's about a year old, and so I have that here, and hopefully I'll have the same success. I was so impressed with my neighbors. So it's about this high right now on me, but it's not looking that great, but good enough where I think it'll be successful. It's a nice spot. So if that is a successful set, I'm going to have way more than I need. But that's the Bangkok lemon tree. That was really good. Now, his Excalibur red, I was so unimpressed with it at one point that I actually had a spot for it right here. And I took it out of the ground. It was a seedling, number one. And I didn't want to take a chance on a seedling because I'm so limited on spots. And also, at that time, all the ones I was eating weren't good. Lately, the ones I've been eating have been amazing. So I don't regret the choice still because it was a seedling, but I used that spot for something else. So here's my second spot on my black gold. Remember, these are not seedlings. These are grafts. So this is a black gold graft. And that one's looking excellent. And does one person need more than two varieties of the same jackfruit? Probably not. But I just want to see the growth pattern and the difference of it. I've seen a black gold somewhere else, and it grew much more like my neighbors. So I don't know if it's a spot or what it is. So I just want to see that and see how it does there. That's how good the fruit is. And I got a few more trees to show you here when it comes to jackfruit. Now, there's something that's in it similar to a jackfruit called a champidak, and you can't get a true champidak here in South Florida, from my understanding. But they have what is a hybrid, which is like a cross between a champidak and a jackfruit. It's called a Chine jackfruit. That's the name of it. And I have this tree here. It's supposed to be soft, and I like soft jackfruit, so it's looking really great, this tree. And this year is the first year I've had this tree for about maybe 5 years or so, and this year is the first year, if you could see, I'm getting some fruits on there. So that's really exciting that I'm getting some fruits on there. So that's a Chine jackfruit. And here I have a Boca champidak. Now this one in Boca Raton, there was the people from Excalibur fruit trees found somebody with a so-called champidak tree. I don't know if it was true, but they named it Boca champidak, and they had seedlings and grass for sale. This one was a graft. And last year I got my first fruit on it. It was so delicious. It was small. I never had a true Champadoc, but it was wonderful. So I took the seeds from this and I actually planted them in various places. So I'll see how they do this year. But for now, this year, nothing going on here, but I did get one fruit on that last year. So as I'm looking at that, I was kind of settled with what I wanted for jackfruit. But I know I've seen some properties with jackfruit in the front of the house, and supposedly jackfruit is one fruit that you can grow pretty well in the front of the house without worrying about people taking it and so on. So I have this, I had 2 spots here in front of this house, and I wanted to get jackfruit, but jackfruit is so big. But I heard about dwarf jackfruits, and it doesn't mean the trees don't grow big. They still grow big, but not like big as other jackfruits. So there's 2. I have this one here called Kuchan or Kochan jackfruit, and this is supposed to be a true dwarf jackfruit, and it's named after the city it comes from in India or Pakistan or somewhere, Kochan. And it's supposed to be a dwarf jackfruit. The fruits are supposed to be smaller and supposed to be delicious. So I have this right here in front of the house. I'll see how it does. Kochan jackfruit. We'll see. And so that's about a year old, not even. And then I have one more that's supposed to be a dwarf jackfruit that I hear. So I did a video on a Kochan in the past, but this one's called a lemon gold jackfruit. A lemon gold jackfruit. And it's supposed to be that's about a year old as well. It's supposed to be a graft, a dwarf. These are all grafts, none of them are seedlings. As you can see, it's in the front of the house here. So when they grow up, we'll see how they do. You know, you got to take a chance with what trees you put up in the front here. But those are the jackfruits that I have and my neighbor has. And so those are the varieties. I mean, I've tasted other varieties. I tasted a lot of unknown varieties, but you go to the store and there's unknown varieties there. Sometimes they're good. As a matter of fact, I remember I did plant 2 seedlings of an unknown variety that I liked it so much. I got it from the local international market. I liked it, and I don't know. I have no idea what they are, but I planted 2 seedlings of them. So one of them is here in the front of another of my neighbor's yards, and I kind of work with my neighbors. I use their space and take care of the yard to use their space. So that's one that I have here just to see how it does. It's just a seedling. I don't even have water on it. I just see how it does. And then this one here, I have a jujube tree, but I ended up planting this jackfruit seedling right next to the tree. I don't know. That might not have been a good idea for the best spot, but we'll see how it does. So I have various of the Boca Champadoc seeds all around, various around the yard. Other than that, that's the jackfruit story here. Like I said, I wanted to make this video to show you the different options and the different things that are happening with jackfruit. And if you have questions or comments, put them below the video. And yeah, it's really exciting. Let me show you one more thing since I'm already here. And this 1-day video is now becoming a 2-day video because I lost the video from yesterday, the second half. I'm going to show you, I cut open that my neighbor's jackfruit, the Excalibur red. It's not truly red. It's more of a yellowish color. Let's look at that. Again. So it's not really red. It's more of a really orange color or a really deep yellow color. But there it is. There's some plastic over there, so you can't really see it. But that is the Excalibur red. So you kind of get the name red, but it's not red, but it's still nice orange. So that is our jackfruit video. Hopefully something I said here will help you make a decision of what jackfruit to get. Some of them are really, truly amazing. Some of them are not even worth your time. I had a jackfruit that I had to take out. I had for 7 years and nothing grew on it. So I took it out. But all right, everybody, put your comments, questions below. Have a great day and keep growing.